She was one of the most photographed women in history, and yet somehow, one of the loneliest. The world knew her as a princess, a royal icon, a symbol of grace and beauty. But behind the headlines and royal appearances, there was a very different story unfolding, one filled with emotional struggle, quiet suffering, and a search for love that never truly found stability. This is the life story of Princess Diana, and it begins long before she ever stepped into a palace. Diana Spencer grew up in a world that looked privileged from the outside, but emotionally, her childhood was unstable. Her parents separated when she was still very young, and that experience left a mark on her that she carried into adulthood. People who knew her described her as shy, sensitive, and deeply emotional, someone who felt things more intensely than most. She wasn't someone who dreamed of fame at first. She actually wanted something much simpler: love, stability, and a place where she truly belonged. But life had something very different planned for her. Everything changed when she met Prince Charles. At the time, he was the future King of England, older, experienced, and already carrying the weight of royal responsibility. Diana was only 19 when they first became connected, and to the public, their relationship looked like something out of a storybook. A young, beautiful woman marrying into the royal family. But what the world saw was only the surface, because behind the scenes, there were already complications forming, emotions that didn't fully align, expectations that were overwhelming, and a past connection in Charles's life that never really disappeared. That connection was with Camilla Parker Bowles, and even though Diana may not have understood everything at the beginning, she slowly started to feel that she wasn't the only person in her marriage. When the royal wedding happened in 1981, the world watched in admiration. It was broadcast everywhere, followed by millions, and described as a perfect royal fairy tale. But for Diana, the experience felt very different internally. She later described feeling overwhelmed, isolated, and emotionally unprepared for the life she had just entered. Because marriage into the royal family wasn't just about love. It was about duty, protocol, silence, and endurance. And slowly, that pressure started to break her emotionally. As the years went on, the distance between Diana and Charles became more obvious. Their emotional connection weakened, while unresolved feelings and external influences remained in the background of their marriage. Diana later discovered that Charles's relationship with Camilla never truly ended, and that realization deeply affected her emotional well-being. She struggled privately, not in public, but in silence. Behind smiles and royal appearances, she was dealing with emotional pain, loneliness, and mental health challenges that few people around her fully understood at the time. There were moments where she felt completely isolated inside the royal system, surrounded by people, yet unable to truly express what she was going through. And eventually, in one of her most famous statements, she described her marriage in a way that shocked the world by saying, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." That sentence changed everything, because it confirmed what many had only suspected. But what makes Diana's story so powerful is not just her suffering, it's how she responded to it. Instead of disappearing into silence, she began to transform. She started connecting with people in a way that no royal had done before. She didn't just visit charities, she physically engaged with people. She held their hands, listened to their stories, and treated them with a level of emotional warmth that made her stand out completely from traditional royal behavior. Whether it was working with AIDS patients at a time when fear and misunderstanding were widespread, or walking through landmine fields to raise global awareness, Diana began building something far more powerful than royal status. She built human connection, and that's when the world truly fell in love with her. She became known as the People's Princess. But while her public image grew stronger, her personal life continued to struggle. The marriage eventually collapsed, and in 1996, Diana and Charles officially divorced. For the first time in years, Diana experienced a sense of independence, but it came with a new kind of pressure. She was no longer protected by royal structure, and every aspect of her life became even more visible to the media. She was trying to rebuild herself emotionally, rediscover happiness, and live a more normal life. But the constant attention never really stopped. Then came 1997. She was in Paris, traveling with Dodi Fade, when the events that would change everything began to unfold. trying to escape the paparazzi. Their car entered a tunnel at high speed, and moments later, a crash occurred that would shock the entire world. Death of Princess Diana. She was only 36 years old, and in an instant, the world lost one of its most beloved public figures. In the days that followed, grief spread across the globe. People lined the streets, left flowers, and mourned someone they had often never met personally, yet felt deeply connected to. But even after her passing, questions began to surface. Official investigations concluded it was a tragic accident caused by high-speed driving and paparazzi pursuit. However, over the years, alternative theories and speculation emerged. Some people questioned whether everything about that night was fully understood, pointing to inconsistencies, rumors, and emotional testimonies that fueled ongoing debate. While no verified evidence has ever confirmed conspiracy claims, the uncertainty itself became part of her legacy, a reminder of how deeply her story impacted the world. What remains undeniable, however, is her lasting influence. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, continue to carry forward her legacy in their own ways, focusing on humanitarian work and public service. And decades later, Diana is still remembered, not just as a princess, but as someone who changed what it meant to be royal. She showed emotion in a world that demanded silence. She showed kindness in places where it wasn't expected. And she showed vulnerability at a time when it was considered weakness. But that's exactly why people never forgot her. Because she wasn't just a royal figure. She was human, and that's what made her unforgettable.